The Vietnam War had a profound effect on all who participated. For most, the war was simply the discharge of a patriotic duty. For many, it was just a temporary interruption in the normal cycle of life. Others viewed it as an evil, unwanted conscription that bordered on indentured servitude. A few used it to promote or launch successful military careers. There were even a few callous individuals who saw it as an opportunity to obtain financial reward. But for many of those who fought and suffered, it was the beginning of a lifelong nightmare of terrible magnitude that consumed everything and everyone it touched. And for all of us, whether we are willing to admit it or not, it was a time in our youth when our values were tested, our moral convictions were challenged, and our love and hatred for our fellow man were stretched to the extreme. Most of us who participated in combat will always carry the emotional and physical baggage of that experience as a constant reminder of those terrible days so long, long ago. Like our fathers and our grandfathers before us, we too had to face our war, that shaper and breaker of mankind. And like our fathers and grandfathers before us, we too are now obligated to pass on to our children some sort of legacy of our experiences. But in doing so, we must be very wise and very cautious. We must avoid justifying the righteousness of war, for war is not a righteous thing. Nor must we expound upon the glory of combat, for there is no glory in combat. Nor must we teach our children to believe that it is their sacred duty to serve a cause that is unworthy of their sacrifice and the sacrifice of their comrades, because such a cause is no cause at all. However, we must teach our children that in the terrible crucible of battle, ordinary men will sometimes rise far above the ordinary, far above the commonplace, indeed, reaching the lofty heights of true heroism. And that heroism, the unselfish sacrifice, is the one thing that gives us all hope in the goodness of our fellow man. This is why those of us who have been there still honor our fallen heroes, and why we still value so deeply those bonds of brotherhood forged in the flames of the combat we shared together. Reflecting upon the previous paragraphs, I am suddenly overcome by this feeling that you, the listeners, will think this is nothing more than the corny ruminations of an aging veteran. I find myself constantly fighting an impulse to tear it to pieces and start all over again, as I've already done a dozen times before. It's easy to write a story when you've lived it and have the facts at your fingertips.